Hello, welcome to Monte Carlo Tamale.
Good morning, Emma.
Hello. Hi, Krista.
So today we're going to do a little bit of a Maidenhead meets Marlowe collab. You are the girl about town, Face2Face Maidenhead. We're going to do a podcast today, which is me talking to you about what you're doing over. Are we over a bridge? Over the water, we are.
Yep.
And then you can interview me. So anyone that's listening to this beginning, we're going to split this into two and do two parts. So I'm going to start off talking to you about what you started to do as a career and then leading you to where you are now with all your fabulous networking events and all the things that you're doing in Maidenhead. So let's start with young Emma. What did she want to do when she was leaving school or going to college?
So when I was leaving school, going to college, I had done some work experience as a journalist. And that was something that I was really, really interested in. I loved English, creative writing. That's what I'd studied as well. And that was my passion, being creative. And I knew that I wanted to do something along those lines, but not for a newspaper. So I used to read an awful lot of magazines. I loved Just 17 when I was young. I was into all the sort of editorial stuff, and I always thought one day that'd be me going and sampling things, trying things, going to launch it. And that was something that kind of was always in the back of my mind, but I was a very shy young person, very shy for even into my adulthood. And back then it was pre-social media, pre-blogging, that wasn't a thing. So I ended up very randomly working in healthcare. I kind of fell into it. I'd done college. I decided that I didn't want to go to university. I'd applied. I was accepted. I was going to go to Lancaster University to study English language. I got all my grades and I bottled it.
Why do you think that was?
The thought of leaving home and moving out and being a bit of a grown up and possibly having to pay university fee, doing all that everything, it was so overwhelming.
Yeah, you just couldn't face it.
I just was so scared. And I even said to my parents, can I just live at home and commute? And they're like, no. So because I held myself back really. So I'm kind of making up for it now. Fell into healthcare. I worked in various roles. I actually set up my own child minding business at one point when I was kind of in between things. I had my son when I was 23. Got two children. He is now 23 and I have a 11-year-old as well. Things were very different. I'd moved as well. So at the time I was living in Lancashire. So I grew up in Buckinghamshire and my parents moved when I was sort of college age. Lots of transitions, lots of changes in my life. And then when I was 29, I met my now husband who was living in West London and we moved. Well, I moved my son down. I was still working in healthcare and I ended up working for a large healthcare company when we moved to Maidenhead as an area trainer. But I've always done freelance writing. So that was something that I kind of set up on the side, very self-taught. So I learned how to blog. I learned how to write online. So everything previous to that was old school. I knew how to write. But this was different. This was like learning SEO and learning all the tech side as well. And then the social media as well. So how that kind of funnels into it.
So who were you writing for when you say you were doing freelance writing? What kind of publications, or was it straight onto digital?
It was all digital. What year was it? Around 2010 it was. I wasn't on Instagram for a long, long time.
Yeah, I held off actually. Twitter was 2006. I'm terrible with years, but I don't know where they stick in my mind. But Twitter was a thing and that was fun until it became not fun. And I held off Instagram thinking, I don't need another thing to do, which is strange because I love taking photos and really that's what it's about. And
yeah, I was on Twitter. I loved it when it was Twitter, the old school, a bit like what Instagram threads have created now. It was that old school. I loved all of that. I loved the engaging. I set up a blogger, which I still have. I think I've had two of those. It was Blogspot and then it was Blogger, and one's still floating around out there, and a WordPress. And I've done different ones and scrapped them. But then I was writing on this platform. I don't think it exists anymore. It's an American platform called Hub Pages. It was a bit like a social media platform that you could monetize off. So I did monetize through that. And off the back of that, I did get a few people just saying, you know, can you write me? I think I did one on coffee. And then somebody wanted me to write them, just ghostwrite for them an article on coffee. And I did a few paid things as well. The last blog that I did before Face2Face Maidenhead, which I still have, is called All She Loves. So,
Oh, right.
and I still have the Instagram attached to that. I think it was 2018 I set that up. So I was working for a large private healthcare company as an area trainer. I'd had my daughter. I'd gone back off maternity leave. I was part-time, wasn't loving my role. I was very kind of detached from my team, very fast-paced company, very difficult to do. Everything was remote, and I just felt I just had this creative need, like this isn't fulfilling. I was writing on All She Loves, lots of articles, lots of different things, lifestyle, family, Then I had the Instagram. I had about 200 followers, and Matalan reached out, the PR for Matalan, saying, we're opening in Bracknell, come along to the launch. And that was my first gig, if you like. So I went along, and I thought, I've had experience as journalists. It felt very much like that, just sort of getting to the front, you know, hi, I'm here, I'm press. You know, I kind of had all that. So it felt very natural to me to kind of be there and be kind of, you know, reporting on this brand new shop that's opening. And then I started to get collabs from then. You do one, it snowballs. So, but all very local businesses. So, you know, it was Panto, it was the Carter Steam Fair, all the local stuff. And then one day, a friend of mine, so she runs Paddleboard Maidenhead, my friend Tara, she's a yoga teacher, and I met her when she was doing baby yoga. I had my daughter, we used to do baby yoga. She then decided that she wanted to go into the paddleboarding, and she does yoga on the boards. She still does all her yoga stuff. It was brand new business for her. And she said to me, I need to get onto Facebook. And I used to do lives because at the time,
I remember Facebook Lives.
Yeah, they're a big thing. They're a big way to get, I mean, the algorithms changed. Everything's just social media's changed since then, changes really quickly. She said to me, I need to do a live. Can you come down to the river? I'll stand on the board. You hold it. And I thought, as long as I'm behind the camera, you go for it. At one point, she did get me on the board live, but that was another time.
Sounds a bit risky with a camera.
It was, yeah. Well, actually, she had a daughter there. That was another time. She had a daughter filming me. But this particular day, it was March 2019, and she did this live, so I was filming her. Afterwards, we sat. This was in between the Sounding Arch in Maidenhead and the Maidenhead Bridge. So a little park there. And we sat on the paddleboard. She got out like tea. She had some tea, and we just sat there. And I said, you know, I don't know what to do. I was really miserable, actually, I have to say. And I said, you know, I love my blogging, love doing all of that, but you can't monetize from it. You can only monetize if you've got service or you stick Google ads all over it. And even like ad programs are really hard to monetize because you need a lot of traffic to make anything from.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was a time when you could get a decent CPM from an ad campaign. When I had my network, my blogger network, we had an ops manager, and we were serving ads on blogs, and they just became so ugly, and the ads just were like folding out, coming in, taking over your site. And it was really hard to try and convince bloggers it's really worth it for 15p a day, or something ridiculous.
I know. Yeah. And also it slows the site down. It's loading. There's something really quite ugly about these ads that pop up. So I was quite against doing all of that. I said to Tara, what can I do? I want something local. I want to do something for the local town, but I don't want to do anything that anybody else is doing. And that was a big thing for me. So I like to be unique. I don't like to step on toes either. So she said, well, why don't you set up a directory and put videos on it? Because everyone wants a video. And she said, call it Face2Face Maidenhead. So Face2Face Maidenhead was born on the river in Maidenhead. that day. Although I called it Face2Face Direct, I played around with it. I went home and kind of thought about it. I already had my blog. So I thought, right, that's fine because I can just create another website. It's really easy because I've already got that web hosting there. So all that side of it was quite easy. But it's like, what do I want it to look like? And I had it in my head because I said to Tara, I was like, I don't do videos. I'm a blogger. I'm a writer. It's like video is not something that I know how to do. So I thought, actually, we can make this like an editorial about the business. So this magazine that I craved when I was young, that I really wanted to do, this sort of magazine editorial, I can have these like Q&As with the business, about the business. We have the little kind of blurb, what service do they offer, have all the images, make it all glossy and magazine-y. And then we can stick a video underneath it. So we've got that visual, can see the face behind the business. So that's what it was all about. And that's where it stemmed from. Then I did a business course and I was sort of trying to grow it, and I was learning video, and I was going to invest heavily into all the equipment. And we went into lockdown.
I was going to say, I was just waiting for 2020 to hit when you said that you launched it in 2019. I was like, I know where this is going.
Where is it going? So we had a lovely group of people that had done this business course that we'd done. And a load of them we were all on the WhatsApp group, and a load of them went, I'm taking a step back. It's just not going to work for me. And I'm like, if I take a step back, I'm not going to get anywhere. I cannot risk just doing nothing. I can't sit and do nothing. It's just not going to happen.
Also, it's a digital business. So actually, lockdown shouldn't really have had a massive effect. It should have given you more time to concentrate on it because you had nothing else to do other than look at your laptop. Well, apart from having a child, obviously.
And homeschooling. She was 5 at the time. So I was homeschooling. My husband was working from home. But the difficulty, but I kind of used it as a positive, was it wasn't my business. My business was digital, so that was fine. But what about the hairdressers that they couldn't work?
Yeah, the people you wanted to approach.
All these people, as you remember, the Facebook groups were swamped. Everyone was in all the groups. Everyone was online because, like, what do we do?
Everyone was trying to turn their business online. And also, a very hard time to ask people to contribute financially. Exactly. Because they were suffering. Your business model, I'm sure that you had in your mind, of people paying to be on the directory and paying for your services because they're just struggling to stay afloat.
Yeah, nobody had that money. It wasn't like, oh, we don't have this spare cash, and we don't know what the future, we don't know what's around the corner.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, well, let's grow this and let's give them a free listing for a year. Because then I'm supporting local, which is what I'm all about. That's what I wanted to do, support local, be part of the local community. I have to step back and do it behind the screen. It will also give me an opportunity. Yes, people will take advantage. Like, great, yeah, free listing, free advertising, whatever. And I'm doing all the hard work. But it worked for me as well because I could then grow the website, because it's chicken and egg. Like, what is this thing going to look like? And also, how could I ask somebody to pay for a service that didn't exist?
Yeah, absolutely. But so many businesses are chicken and egg, aren't they? You just got to throw yourself into it.
Yeah. And that was it. And I went in with my eyes wide open. Like, I'm going to make loads of mistakes here, but I'm just going to do it.
So making mistakes when you're small is the best time to make the mistakes, isn't it? Because there's less people looking at you.
Yeah.
And, we've all been there where, you've just got to try something out. And if you don't try, you'll never get anywhere.
Yeah. And it's fine to rebrand. It's fine to reinvent yourself.
Start again, and it didn't work, and let's try it this way. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So my websites had lots of different looks and features. So I really did evolve it. So I had lots and lots of businesses on throughout lockdown, lots of businesses that kind of popped up and disappeared, these kind of makeshift. I had somebody that was delivering cocktails to the door, people that were just sort of trying to.
And did you get anybody to pay at that point, or were you just doing it all for free?
What I was doing was I was creating videos for people, which I quickly decided that I didn't want to do, which was fine because it was all part of the learning curve. So what I was doing was I couldn't come out and film anybody. So they were sending me video clips and I was making videos for them. And this was just before Reels came along and TikTok was big in lockdown. Yeah, so I created a few videos. So I did earn from those. And that was something that I could create for them. And then it can sit on my YouTube, you can have it, and it can sit on your listing as well. So, and then they could have it and repurpose it. So I did do a few of those. I found that was really challenging, but doing anything creative with somebody is it was hard work. So I thought,
Yeah.
actually, when we kind of came out of lockdown, I thought, do you know what, lots of people, actually there's quite a few people that didn't require a video. They didn't actually want that part, or we were already on reels at this point, we're already on socials, we're already on TikTok, so everybody had their own videos. So
Yeah.
it's like, well, I can just sort of link to one of those, and then if you want a video, that is there. And then if you don't want a video, we can just leave that as an optional. As long as I've got that kind of Q&A with you, I'm
Yeah.
keeping
So
that.
people get to know your business, because that's
Yeah.
the point of what you're doing, isn't it? You're trying
Yeah.
to
All about
showcase who people are and
the,
try and have a kind of a discovery website, really, in a way.
exactly. They don't have
Yeah.
reviews on there unless like somebody puts their own kind of review on there. But it's very much a kind of sort of, let's find out about the face find the business before we then inquire, or we go and have a look at their social media and then we'll inquire. We might kind of lurk a little bit. So it's just a different way of kind of getting to know that business. I kept that model, and so many people are like, oh, why don't you have tiers? Why don't you have packages? Why don't you have, you know, just like an entry and it costs you this, and then just you have the Q&A and it'll cost you this, and then put a video on it, it'll cost you this. And it's like, because I didn't want just entries. I didn't want people to go with that lower option and then I just don't have what I wanted to create. I
Yeah,
want,
and every business is different, isn't it? A kind of
yeah,
offering someone who's got a solicitor's to offering to someone who's a yoga teacher. They're
yes.
just two very different models, and you're going to approach them with a different creative way of promoting their business. So it's really hard, I think, to do a one size fits all with that
It's
kind of business.
really hard. I mean, I've got some
Mm.
businesses that don't want to show the faces. They want to be
Mhm.
faceless. They might be, counselors, those sorts of businesses. Because somebody did ask me quite recently, do you just like send the same questions to everyone? It's like, no, because you've all got different businesses. I can't, we're not going to find out about you if I just say, oh, when did you start? We need to know about you.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. And then the other thing that I wanted to do just before lockdown was put events on there. So not my
Mhm.
event. I wasn't running any events at the time, but just things that are going on. So I actually have, and I discovered it quite recently. I was pulling all my stuff out of my cupboards, and I have this little drawing of like how my homepage looked, and it actually doesn't look that much different. It's had lots of facelifts, but the
I
layout,
remember doing that. I remember doing sketches of how a homepage can look. You've
yeah,
just reminded me. I didn't do that for my most recent. Well, maybe I did actually. But yeah, it's a really good way, isn't it, to imagine your homepage?
yeah. I think I'd sent it to a website designer. Like, this is what, because that was the thing. It's like when I first started, I had this idea, but it's like I need the web designer to really understand what I'm trying to create. Because it's like, I mean,
Yeah, and it's hard when you're looking through templates, isn't it? Because you want a bit of that and a bit of that. It's never quite exactly what you want. You have to compromise at some point unless you've got the money to pay for a bespoke website to be built.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning, I did kind of lift the template from my All She Loves blog. And I thought, no, this isn't working, because what I want is a page that goes to the categories, and then we kind of click into those categories and then it lists all the business. And I knew what it wanted to look like. But when you say directory to somebody, just think of the yellow pages or classic.
Yeah.
It's like, just think magazine, think, it's like,
Yeah. Try and think of it in a more editorial way. Yeah.
yeah. And so I really had to get somebody that really understood. So I kind of made it up a little bit myself. Had somebody that did create the categories for me. I didn't think she totally understood it. And then once it kind of got big enough, I found another chap. I was like, this is what I want. And he got it. I was looking on all the Facebook groups, social media, and I was seeing this wave of people going, where do we go? Like, people had babies in lockdown, and they're like, we don't know what baby groups are on because we've never stepped outside the house. People going, do we have to book for this? They wanted to know what was going on. So I thought, right, here we go. Let's listen to
There's
what
your
people
gap.
want.
That's
Yeah.
where I'll go. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just listen to what people are after here, and then we can put it on the website. So that's when um, I'd started with the monthly events. So I do like a monthly roundup of what's on in Maidenhead. I do a weekend one as well. So like if people just want to know what's on at the weekends, and then I do a gig guide. So it's for all. It's not like focused on families with young kids. It's for anybody locally. So on the roundups, there'll be something for everyone really. So there'll be the kids stuff, there'll be the party stuff that's going on, the markets, the repair cafe.
You do a lot of work, Emma. I always look at what you do and think it's really full on. It must take you quite a long time to, because
Yeah,
you're gathering all this information every weekend, every month. It's a lot, and people don't realize how much work that goes into that,
there is a
that
lot.
you're promoting them.
I am, yeah. So it is a lot of work. I do work hard, so I won't deny. It is easier because when you've done it 1 year, you go back. So I've just literally done as we're talking now, we're coming into June. So I've just done my June roundup. And then I'm just refreshing last year's.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a formula in some ways for
Yeah.
some of the events,
So
I
a lot
guess.
of
Yeah.
them, it's like, oh, that's happening again, da da da. And then also, it's really quite easy when you live here. Well, no, it's easy for me to know. Right. So I've had somebody said, oh,
Because you've put the work in. It's easier for you
I
because
live
you've put the
here
hours in.
and I live
Yeah.
here. So I know what's going on. So somebody said to me, can you do Windsor and Maidenhead? And I thought, well, I don't live there. So it's harder. So I'm not just behind a screen. So the one thing that you mentioned right at the top of this was networking. So I did take it offline. So that was really to give the directory members more value. So I thought if I do some networking, and that kind of stemmed from I was doing networking with somebody.
Yeah.
It was just a free thing that she kind of set up. And then I ended up taking over. And I thought, actually, it's quite a nice thing to do, even for me, just to get out and just talk to people. I don't charge for net walks, but we're doing that. But when we first started, she kept saying to me, should we do some networking? And I was like, yeah, I'm up for it. And then like she'd go quiet, and then I'd kind of come back to her and go, are we doing this networking? She, oh, I don't know if I can. And I thought, actually, it'd be really complicated for me to do it with somebody because I've got the directory. I would have to call it Face2Face Maidenhead because it just all part of my brand. So it'd be really hard to do it with somebody else. So I just thought I'm just going to have to do it. So I thought she doesn't want to do it. So I got onto Instagram. I DM'd the local cafe, the local soft play cafe, and I said, I want to do some networking. Can I do it here? She went, come down, have a coffee. So I went down, had a coffee, and I said, I've never done it before, but I used to be a trainer, I can manage a room. It should be second nature to me. So we did it. And that was the first time I did this sort of face to camera reel of going, hi, we're doing this network. I'm really excited. Da, 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 da. And I thought, this is it now. It's out there. I cannot.
I remember meeting you when I first moved here,
Yeah.
or whenever it was in the last sort of 3.5 years. And I remember saying to you, and I say this to everyone, you've got to talk to camera. And we were both saying how much we hated
Hate
talking
it.
to camera. And I still say it now to everyone. And
Yeah.
I still don't even do it on my own page because I mean, that's how rubbish I am. But I'll tell everyone else what they should do. And I have been doing that probably for decades. But you've really got to step out of your comfort zone and talk to camera. And it is engaging. It does resonate with people. So it is one of the best free ways that you can promote yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a free way. It's authentic. It's raw. So it's not a polished thing. It's just, I'm telling you and also that's the mindset you got to be in. It's like, no one's sort of looking at me going, oh my God, she's got grey hair and she's got wrinkles. And so that's what it is. I just thought,
That's what you're there for. Yeah.
I'm just giving you some information. If you're a local business or not even a business, you might be a charity, you might be thinking about starting a business, you might be from a company, or you might just want to get out there, then this is for you. So I'm talking to you. Like if you want to come to some networking, here it is. This is the date. You can make it, book it. So you just you're telling people, and the more you kind of tell people and the more you have to really shout about it, that's when you sell the ticket.
And events are hard, aren't they? Because I don't know if it's post-COVID, people tend to commit and get their tickets later and later for anything. So it's always such a risk when you think, no one's booked yet. And then suddenly, 2 days before your event, everybody's booking their tickets. So it's a really hard thing to do.
Do you know what? So when I started, I think the first one I did, I think I got about 15 or 16 people, which actually was nice because it was a small cafe
That's a good number.
and it was a good number. And I had the speaker was going, she kept saying to me, like, how many have you got booked? I was like, oh, I've got 5. Is that all? I've got 7 this time. But yeah, it was a real thing. It was a real struggle every month. Need to get people. But I always had like at least 15 or 16 people. And I capped it to 20 initially, although it's sort of going up now. So I didn't sell out for until the following January, I think. It was a long time. And then I was selling out and then it went quiet again. So then it was like, and then it was that panic. And then for the last sort of, I'd say year and a half, they've all sold out.
Your events look so busy on Instagram, and it's such a big group of people that you can tell absolutely love it, because it's something that even comes across on your reels. And I don't know, is there anyone else? I'm not asking you to promote anyone else in
Yeah,
Maidenhead, but
yeah.
there isn't anyone else doing what you're doing
I
in
think
Maidenhead, is there?
think that's the thing. I think I've got space. There are a couple of networking. I mean, we've got the Chamber who do a lot of
Yeah.
working, sort of Windsor and Maidenhead and surrounding. There are some kind of membership groups.
Hmm.
The Real Five, they kind of win again. They're Windsor and Maidenhead, and then the My Royal Borough do free ones. They're quite often in Windsor, although this week they're in Maidenhead, so I will be attending. Um, but then you've got like other ones that kind of float around. So you've got the Marlow ones, you've got ones sort of Berkshire, Windsor.
You find, though, that a lot of them start off all guns blazing, and then it's really hard. They don't actually
Oh,
maintain, they don't really go beyond 3 or 4 meetups because they know how hard it is to promote it.
yeah, it is hard. And I think the one thing that I do is I keep my ticket prices low. So you don't make money off events really. You'd have to be doing an awful lot of them and the big ones. This is just it's just part of what I do. So everything that I do,
Yeah.
bits and pieces of what I do, and it's all part of the marketing and it's growing me as a brand as well. They're 12 quid a ticket. So you can't
Yeah,
go wrong.
it's
And you
nothing.
get a coffee. And if you're on the directory, it's 6 quid a ticket. So that just covers my admin fee because that's your coffee as well. So I'm giving value. And that was the whole point, is I'm giving value to people that are on the directory. So everything that I do is for them. All the stuff that I do on the website, all the what's on guides, all the sponsored posts, or anything that I do, it's all traffic to the website ultimately.
Yeah.
So people are visiting that directory. So everything that I'm doing is for them. All the showing up. So I'm getting out there, I'm talking about it. I'm online talking about it. So you have to show up all the time because I've got to do it for them. It's my duty to kind of,
Yeah, if you're charging people,
yeah,
I feel the same about anything that I do, is that
yeah,
it's all very well. It's great to get people to believe in you and sponsor you and do something and give you hand over money that's hard for them to earn. But
yeah,
that's just the start of it. Then you've got to deliver, haven't you? You can't just say, "Okay, thanks for that."
yeah,
I've got to make sure people are visiting my website. I've got to make sure I get more signups for the newsletter. You've got to keep going all the time. I mean, that's the relentlessness of social media, unfortunately,
yeah.
as well.
And I might have a business that might kind of not get any sales from, I can't even guarantee that. But what I can do is that I'll showcase you on my socials and you might get some followers from it. And then in time, they might buy from you through,
Yeah, that
yeah, yeah.
visibility is more valuable. It doesn't just convert
Mm,
overnight. It's,
no.
there's statistics, isn't there, about how many times people need to see you before it registers who they are, and then before they might come and visit you. But you're all part of that for someone, aren't you? Your marketing is extending their reach beyond their own followers, which is
Yeah.
really valuable.
Yeah, and that's a message I have to get across to people. Not very many people question what I do. I think they lurk a little bit. They've seen me grow on socials and they think she's got something. And as you say, I mean I'm the only one that's got the website for Maidenhead. As far as I'm aware, unless there's one lurking around and they're very quiet about it, there's nothing like this for Maidenhead. I'm keeping on top of it all the time. Even like the council, they have their Facebook page, they make Maidenhead, but they don't have like the website.
It's a different vibe
It's
anyway, isn't
different
it?
vibes.
The chamber meetings and the council,
Yeah, it's
it's
all
very different to what you're doing.
slightly different. Yeah, I'm not political. I'm not. I'm not part of the council. I'm independent from them. I collaborate with them. I've got a good relationship with them because we're all shouting from the same or singing from.
Yeah, you're all promoting the area, which is a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So we're all shouting the same thing. So it's not like it's a competition or anything like that. I'm just trying to create this platform to showcase what we've got. And Maidenhead at the moment, we're going into this sort of regeneration, with the Nicholson Centre is being flattened in a matter of weeks. We're going to be losing some of our shops that are situated in our shopping centre. We do a lot of events here. There's a lot of people that criticise the area. I've lived in different places and I've never known a community like it. And I don't think I could do this anywhere else. And I'm very lucky that I've got this space, because the one thing that I didn't want to do right from the beginning was step on toes. And I researched and researched, and nobody was doing directory with videos when I set up. And there was nothing in my area. I thought there's no point in trying to slide in and just sort of take over from what somebody else is doing. There's no point in trying to just fight people. I kind of stay in that space. I stay in that lane. It's I don't try and kind of filter out too much, because
No, you know what you do. You've got your niche. And, even, when I had my blogger network, I always used to say to people, and they say, I want to do a blog, but I don't really know what to do it about. And I always used to say, like, don't try and do everything. Just try and find something that you're passionate about, because then you'll get the followers and then you'll get an audience. Because if you try and be Sunday Times style magazine, as one person, you're not going to get there.
No.
But if you love winemaking, or if you love something, people are going to come to you because they're passionate about the same thing as you. So I think finding a niche online, because we're so saturated with content, that's a way for people to find you.
Yeah, exactly. And there are people that don't know Face2Face Maidenhead, and there are people that do know. I mean, I might kind of see somebody in a cafe and somebody will introduce me and they'll go, oh, she runs Face2Face Maidenhead. And I've had people go, oh yeah, you're the one that shares all the events. And oh, that's great. I found Christmas event through your website. Or, it might just be, somebody that lives here is looking for things to do.
But there's always an opportunity to grow, isn't there? There's always going to be new businesses. There's always going to be new people moving into the area.
Exactly.
You'll evolve in a way that you see another little space that you think, oh, I could be doing that. I mean, things never stay the same, do they? That's the beauty of working for yourself.
And you've got to keep on top of that. You've got to listen to what people want, and you've got to look at what's working. I mean, I've spent sort of years of doing different things. So last year, it was all about my branding, and I was doing my podcast. I set that all up because I thought I'd bring me into it. I'm Face2Face after all. And it was another way of showcasing businesses as well. The year before was like growing the networking. So like this year, it's like, right, let's get back on the directory. And I've been listing because I've been shouting about it. So where at one point I thought, directories, is it still a thing? I know I call it a directory. Maybe it's the language I'm using, but actually, I think people are seeing what I'm doing. As you say, it's not just this directory, it's visibility all around.
I think it should be called discovery.
It should be. Yeah. Maybe I should change directory and call it discovery.
It's all good for SEO, isn't it? The link backs, and it's a good SEO for both businesses, for you and the other business. And, that people spend a lot of money trying to get good at SEO, and SEO it works over time. So all those links that you put up a year ago are becoming more and more valuable as time goes on.
Exactly. And also, my husband keeps pointing out, it's the AI agents these days as well. Like people are
scanning the internet. I did a podcast with someone who works in PR, and we were talking about AI, and she said the AI results that you get from, your question, they're scanning the internet. So if you're keeping your content up to date and valuable, you're going to show up in the AI searches. AI is not really creating content. It's just stealing it from everyone else. So you've got to be having decent content for them to scan and steal, really.
Yeah, exactly. Because, there's people like, is there still a place for blogging? Is there still a place for AI? Is not going to steal that, because they need to steal it from somewhere. And obviously it will put the links where it comes from. But yeah, it's quality content that it finds. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
quite flattered when I'm looking for things to do in Maidenhead. And if I do a Google search, it just brings me up. And I think I've
It
already,
should do. It should
it
bring
does.
you up.
It does. It brings me up. So I can't look online. I have to find other ways to find out what but I know, yeah. I mean, I'm very well connected. Just it's just been organic, and over time, I work for the local arts centre. I freelance them, so I'm very well. I know exactly what's going on there.
What are some of the new exciting places in Maidenhead that you've discovered and that people can look out for if they visit Maidenhead this summer?
So yeah, they might not necessarily be on the directory.
Obviously, you need to go to face to face, but if you're listening to this
Actually,
podcast,
I've got one that is coming on, and that's our board game cafe. They are listing. They're called Sip and Conquer, and they are girls after my own heart. They're young girls that have opened this business, and they're all about the community. So I love that. I went down Friday and had a chat and a coffee with them. Yeah, they're doing all these different events, and it's all about sort of getting off the digital stuff, and getting the board games out. And they do other events as well. They're doing networking in there and sip and I don't know, painting and all different things. So I love that. A lot of our cafes are starting to do that, lots of community things. Another one that opened last year, I did go to the invite, was Piccolo Land. That's for little children. It's like a play village, if you like, for children.
okay,
Set it up so they've got like these little rooms, so they've got little shops and they can go in and role play.
cute.
So it's really cute, and she loves it. And it's for 6 years and younger. And that's quite a nice thing that we've got here. So as I mentioned, we are kind of losing our shopping centre. So I fear a little bit for the high street because will people still be going down? But I did notice at the weekend that the shopping centre, although things were like closing, there were loads of people in there. So I thought this is amazing that people are still coming out, and the waterside quarter is always bustling. So especially in the
Well,
summer.
people do want to have a wander down their high street, don't they? So hopefully,
Yeah,
people will just discover new places to go.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks very much today, Emma. I think we might need to do a little check-in with you seasonally to find
Yeah.
out what's happening locally.
Or just go to
And
the website, Face2Face
yes,
Maidenhead,
always go to Face2Face Maidenhead.
and that's where it is. And you'll find it all in
Yeah,
one place.
amazing. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much.